continue direction? Are you ready, Kate?
Yeah.
Action.
Hello, Kate.
Hi. When I became famous with Titanic, I mean, you know, when you mention Kate Winslet to somebody, the first thing people will often think is Titanic and, oh, she's the outspoken one about body image. But the reason that that's the case is because I was like literally fat shamed by global media when I was in my very early 20s. So I think that has changed in a way that is fantastic, because it means that young actresses are just allowed to completely be who they are and walk into a creative space and enjoy all of the interesting characters that they play without feeling that sense of unbearable scrutiny, which definitely existed much, much more when I was younger. I mean, now, of course, there's social media and there's always people who will say negative things, whatever. But back then, when there was no social media and it was just mainstream press, they could be incredibly unkind in a way that would not happen now.
Did it hurt you a lot?
Terrible. It was absolutely terrible. Awful. And of course, people just assume that you're supposed to be given a hard time because, well, you're famous now. Well, of course you'll be given a hard time. No, it shouldn't be like that at all. I was 21, 22 years old. And no one can possibly prepare you for that. And there are no skills that you can be taught with which to cope. So I definitely had to learn the hard way. But it's for sure made me incredibly resilient and, yeah, much, much stronger.
The Lights on Women Award, created by L'Oréal Paris, of which you're an ambassador, is all about celebrating and encouraging a new generation of women to embrace their chances as filmmakers and to empower themselves. As a woman and as an actress, what empowers you?
Honestly, I'm empowered by other women and other creative women. Because it takes a lot to come into a creative space and to bring all your vulnerabilities and all your stories and to, quite honestly, use them to make art. And that is what we all do. And so actually, when you are in that space with other women who do the same thing, it's a very empowering moment.
So precisely, as a spectator, as a young spectator, have you felt empowered by a character or an actress you saw on scene?
I've always been incredibly inspired by Helen Mirren. And Judi Dench and Emma Thompson, you know, all these women who have really lived lives and who are still so true to themselves, doing incredible work and really caring about the people in their working environment. That matters to me a lot. And to be a strong, good leader, because actually you do have to be that as well when you're an actor. And so those are the people who inspire me.
What about your characters, Kate? The characters you played, to what extent did they empower you?
Well, it's really interesting because sometimes a character will come along at a certain time in my life and I'll think afterwards, oh God, that was really useful because I was able to, you know, get out that emotion or that thing or something that I hadn't realized I had, you know, been dealing with. So there's always a little bit of something that ends up being of myself being put into those characters always, and there's always a little something that they leave behind as well, which is not always a good thing. My husband will tell you that.
You know what strikes me in the women characters that you play, that you embody on screen, is their complexity. How rare is this in the industry? Well-written and complex female characters.
Well, it's becoming less rare. It used to be almost unheard of. You know, there would be like that one great role that would come along every few years, maybe, and you'd hear all these names of all these people who were trying to get that role. And it was like a fight. And now it doesn't feel like a fight. It feels like there is a lot more to go around. And I think that's because the culture is gradually changing in the sense that we want to hear women's stories now more than ever before. But also I think we want to hear women's stories of my age group, this sort of 45 to 55. This is the most exciting time for us as actresses. There is so much incredible content out there, and it's not just from the film world. You know, we have Netflix, we have Hulu, we have HBO, all these incredible streaming services. So there's tons of content and great television series being written and created all the time, and that's very exciting as well.
And to what extent do you believe in the power of storytelling to make society evolve towards more equality?
Well, I think storytelling can help if it's the right kind of a story.
Sure.
I mean, I think stories that are told by women, films that are directed and written by women, that makes a difference because it sort of rattles the cage in a different way. And I think we just need to wake up and listen more to what women have to say in the film world, because until we do that, we just won't achieve that gender parity. And we need to change the culture.
So with all the directors that you've acted for, I'm thinking, of course, of Jane Campion. As an actress, how different did it feel for you to be directed and seen through the gaze of a woman?
It's different. It is... there is, I don't know how to say it, there's just that sense of sisterhood, I suppose, is kind of inherently built into the experience. So you certainly feel as though you're really going through something together as more of a partnership, I think, than perhaps with the male directors that I've worked with.
Being an actress is not only about playing roles, it also has to do with embracing the state of celebrity. Throughout your career, Kate, how have you managed to cope with the side effects of success?
I just enjoy it. I just enjoy it now. I don't, luckily I'm not constantly in the public eye. I have an extremely private life. So fortunately for me, I don't experience as much, certainly, of those negative sides as I certainly did 25 years ago. So now I just feel very grateful. I've got a wonderful career. I'm really lucky to have a lovely family and a really great husband. And I absolutely love what I do. And so yeah, I feel just very, very blessed.